ready, and... Go Pirates!
And we're praying and hoping so bad that we can just make it this one last game.
Doing good. Yeah. This is what I came here for. Michigan. Bless the Pirates. Final four, Seattle. We're going home #1.
Welcome to in their division at the start of the year came from 18 points down to beat Duke in the semi-finals, led by their Australian star, Andrew Gaze. If you were with us last week, you will have seen the dramatic win by Michigan over Illinois in the last 3 seconds of the game. The mastermind of that victory was Steve Fisher, an assistant given the temporary post of head coach after his boss resigned. Despite that amazing result, Fisher faces an interview after this tournament to get the top job on a permanent basis. A quick reminder of the rules. A basket is worth 2 points, or 3 if it's a long-range effort from outside the semicircle. A free throw awarded for a foul scores 1 point. A player who commits 5 fouls is thrown out of the game, though his team can bring on a substitute. If you're fouled while shooting, you automatically shoot free throws worth 1 point each. A count is also kept on the non-shooting fouls, and once a team has committed 7½, any subsequent fouls attract the penalty of a 1-on-1. In a 1-on-1, the player fouled goes to the line to shoot 2 free throws. If he hits the first, he tries for a second. If he misses the first, the game goes on. Michigan in blue, Seton Hall in white. Now let's join Frank Fallon for the introduction of the teams.
And now let's meet the starting lineups. For Michigan at forward, a 6'7" senior from Flint, Michigan, number 41, Glen Rice. For Seton Hall at forward, a 6'7" junior from Melbourne, Australia, number 10, Andrew Gaze. For Michigan at forward, a 6'9" senior from Grand Rapids, Michigan, number 35, Loy Vaught. For Seton Hall at forward, a 6'8" senior from New York, New York, number 24, Darrell Walker. For Michigan at center, a 6'10" junior from Romulus, Michigan, number 52, Terry Mills. For Seton Hall at center, a 6'8" senior from Canovenas, Puerto Rico, number 25, Ramon Ramos. For Michigan at guard, a 6'2" junior from Cambridge, Massachusetts, number 21, Rumeal Robinson. For Seton Hall at guard, a 6'1" senior from Brooklyn, New York, number 15, Gerald Green. For Michigan at guard, a 6'7" senior from Rosemont, Illinois, number 20, Mike Griffin. For Seton Hall at guard, a 6'3" senior from the Bronx, New York, number 23, John Morton. And introducing the head coaches. For Michigan in his first season, Steve Fisher. For Seton Hall in his 7th season, P.J. Carlesimo.
As we join the first half, Seton Hall are up by 4, but Michigan stars Glen Rice and Rumeal Robinson are scoring well, while the Pirates' Andrew Gaze has yet to score a field goal. Also, keep an eye on Seton Hall's Pookie Wigington at 5'4", a dwarf in a land of giants. Now over to Brent Musburger and Billy Packer.
Good D.
Mills jumping out over to Robinson. Caleb on the right, back to Vaught, trailing an Avent. Coming down on the inside, and there's a blocking foul, and they're pointing at Wigington.
Wigington, a very difficult guy to go ahead and do something on the break because he's so small, low to the floor, kind of like a Muggsy Bogues from the Charlotte Hornets. But this is a good play by Mills to hit ahead. The man has excellent hands. Good decision-making process by Robinson. But see how low to the floor Wigington is? Very difficult to get in against him. Took away an easy 2.
Robinson into the paint. That's 8 points.
I don't know if there's a guard in the country that takes it to the hole any better than Rumeal.
Rice out here with Gaze. Mills taking the inside pass away, so Wilsey has to step out.
Well, Gaze kind of lulls you to sleep as a defender. Looks like he doesn't even want to score, and then all of a sudden you turn your head and he looks to pop the shot on you. Both teams playing great man-to-man defense on the inside.
Wigington inside with the bigger fella. The smallest man in Division 1A, 5'4", Pookie Wigington, took it on the inside and hit the field goal, and the crowd loved that one. Coming down the line now, and Robinson with his 10th point of the evening.
What's happening is that the big men inside for Seton Hall are playing such great man-to-man defense on themselves. They're not switching over to help as Robinson penetrates. They're going to have to help a little bit more of the guards because he's just going in and scoring at will.
Seton Hall flashes very well to the outside for that 3. You know that, Billy? They'll take a man down low and they'll bring him out around that screen. Morton's looking for it.
Here's where Rice wants to switch. Good play by Rice. He switched back so he didn't get stuck with Morton. Both teams playing smart basketball.
Look
here.
how they come inside out. Missed the 3 that time. Michigan rebounding. Down by 2. They can tie or go ahead this trip.
Does it seem to you that Rumeal getting a little tired here? Instead of really pushing the ball down the floor like he normally does, he's kind of walking it.
Rice bangs it in, and that was a 2. That's 10 points for the 2-time Big Ten scoring champion.
He only needs 29 more points to become the all-time Big Ten scoring champion.
Wigington with a great pass on the inside, and that was responsible for the foul.
Now here are those solid screens down inside. You see Gaze trying to come over the top with Rice, and he has to go so wide on that screen that he can't get there in time, and all Rice needs is that split second.
Rice continued to have a great first half, leading the Michigan scorers with 13 by half-time. In contrast, Seton Hall's Andrew Gaze, one of their top scorers, had only 2 in the first half. He's been defending Rice for much of the game, and that seems to be taking its toll. We join at the top of the second half, with Michigan now up by 5.
Brent, I think both teams are themselves a little bit. Remember, neither of these clubs had been in the championship before in terms of the national title. I think they were playing a little bit under wraps.
Green punches in now to Walker, who goes to work, and it's blocked by Mills. And there is Rumeal Robinson. So with a 5-point lead, which is big in a championship game, now a block, and Michigan comes out with its first opportunity. Everything going the Wolverines' way right now. Rice missing on the 3. Morton reaching in on Vaught, fouled him.
Now, one of the things that both of these teams do so well is come over from the weak side to help out whenever the ball goes in the post. And you can see Mills coming over to help out when he realized that Vaught was beat on the inside by Walker. A great block and turned it right into offense for Michigan. No spacing there to get the ball to Mills.
Mills hits the turnaround, and it's 39-32, a 8-point lead, the biggest of the night for the Wolverines.
That was a smart play by Robinson. Once he dumped in, he realized Mills had no room to operate and took his man down under the basket.
They see now at 3-point land and foul on the inside by Ramos, his second.
Brent, very unusual the way these two teams are playing. Seton Hall averages 14 three-pointers a game on the norm. Tonight, that was their 15th three-point shot already. On the other hand, Michigan has been a great three-point shooting team, but so far tonight, they have only taken 3, which is really out of character for these two clubs.
And Cooper will replace Morton.
Strictly due to foul problems right there. Again, that works out a little bit, in my estimation, in favor of Michigan, because you don't have to guard Morton's one-on-one penetration.
So it's a blocking foul against Michigan that time.
You saw Rice again trying to rub Gaze off of Vaught. And Brent, I think you're right on the money. Gaze playing Rice is not only having to chase a great score and have his mind set on him, but he's getting pounded by those big screens set by the Michigan inside people.
Boy, that foul was on Vaught. They try to get it in low to Ramos, who comes up, and this time he gets it put down, and he'll move to the free throw line after Mills picks up his second.
Ramon now a 1,000-point scorer at Seton Hall. Good job getting the ball down inside. And even though they've got people reaching for the arms, he shows that tremendous strength to put the ball back up inside.
So a 3-point play for Carlissimo. 9 points for Ramos. It's 39-35. Michigan's turn.
Now they've got Cooper on Rice.
Rice steps out with Cooper chasing him, and that's a 2-point field goal. 15 points for Glen Rice. Green goes all the way, comes up short, run down in the corner by Rice, sends it deep to Robinson. Here's Mills, over to Vaught, and a beautiful pass from Mills, who threw a blind pass on Saturday to Sean Higgins. So Mills continues to play with some enthusiasm under Steve Fisher.
And we're talking about a guy getting out at the break at 6'10".
They wanted Walker, they've turned it over, Vaught to Griffin, and here's Robinson, and the Wolverines softly in control.
He is so tough to handle on that break with that big upper body strength. Glen Rice turns around, makes the perfect pass. It had to go up court so Robinson could get it. And there's the great pass by Mills. Not only the great pass, but how about the way he stepped off to the right-hand side to make sure the charge could not be called. Smart play by Mills.
And the third personal on Gaze as Robinson will shoot 2.
Ramil, a third-team All-Big Tenner this year, sure to be a preseason All-American type candidate next year.
We've got a timeout. Michigan leading at 44-35.
Michigan took a 12-point lead, which they maintained with this amazing play by Rumeal Robinson. But Robinson, who played every minute of the game, was taken out by Steve Fisher for a rest. And Seton Hall have cut the lead to 7 points as we rejoin Brent Musburger and Billy Packer.
Now, Michigan has hit against this defense only 3 of its last 14 shots. That's 21% right now, and they need to get something done.
And Seton Hall only has 3 team fouls, which means they've been doing it just with solid defense.
Field goals was Higgins' 3-point shot. Now he backs in Gaze. He'll take another one, forcing it up. And Ramos can't get the handle on it. And Mills takes it off Ramos and out of bounds. So Ramon Ramos continues to struggle. Normally he has some of the best set of hands in the Big East. And Bo Schembechler studying that clock, seeing 8.5 minutes up there.
Ramos probably saying that play is illegal down in Puerto Rico on our national team, because in the international ball you can't throw it off a man back out of bounds.
Rice
got it.
Hits the 3.
Walker gave him just a hair room. That's all he needs.
So the inability to hold on to the ball underneath the basket really cost Seton Hall. Now it's Walker who comes back. He has scored 8 points, and it's still an 8-point lead by Michigan.
With Caleb on the floor, you notice Robinson not having to handle the ball so much, so he's not wearing himself down. The last 4 minutes or so, you can expect to see him with the ball.
Off the penetration, couldn't hit it. Yanked down by Green. Robinson fell. He won't be back defensively. Green dishes off now to Morton, and Morton is fouled by Caleb, and that's Caleb's third personal.
The move that Steve Fisher's got to be thinking about making is Caleb out. He's going to come back in with Griffith, but it's going to be for Higgins. He's trying to play with his 3 ball handlers now. I would expect to see a little more power back in there shortly. The Seton Hall starting to get some advantage inside.
Really, the way Emil Robinson turned in that Iron Man performance in the first half, and we see how well Glen Rice has scored 6 tournament games. When Bill Bradley set his record, the senator from New Jersey played in 5 games, so Rice had the advantage of an extra game as Cooper checks in off the Seton Hall bench. Senator Bradley sent Seton Hall a good luck telegram tonight before the game, which the school showed me, and they said, you know, the last time a New Jersey school got into the Final Four, they were beaten by Michigan, and of course that was Princeton, which Bradley played for.
Senator Bradley and Senator Lautenberg in New Jersey got a little bet going. I didn't know they wagered on Capitol Hill. They've got a bet going with Senator Regal and Levin from Michigan. And listen to the bet. If they lose, if Seton Hall loses, they get a case of M&Ms. I mean, come on, guys. Let's and if it goes the other way, some Verner's ginger ale go to the Senators from New Jersey. So big wager in Capitol Hill.
Walker watching the successful free throw. It's down to 6, 59-53 now with 7:42. They want it now. There's a defense. Ramos off with it, and Morton coming back in the middle now. Morton will try to go all the way for the layup, and he does. And the Hall back in the middle of it. Billy, you've got to get that ball into Emil Robinson's hands and leave it there the rest of the way. He had a sensational first half, but they have been out of sync without him quarterbacking this team.
Well, you've got to think of fatigue. Remember the Illinois game just 2 days ago.
Rest tomorrow.
Well, but
Here's
you just
Robinson.
sometimes the legs just don't do it. You know, it's kind of like a prize fight. You know what you want to do, but you can't get the hands to move.
Rice coming around Cooper now with the jump shot. Volsey is there with the rebound.
Cooper defended him with his legs that time, just by keeping him away. Morton looks quick.
Morton through the lane, hits the field goal.
Steve Fisher's got to be thinking timeout to stop this move.
Now it's a 2-point game, 59-57. Remember now, Michigan led it by 12, so we settle in now for the stretch.
We know what this club does under 8 minutes.
Robinson's open, and coming over was Volsey. He took a good foul. He didn't let him squeeze the trigger on the glass. He'll let him shoot the 2 free throws.
This is a very good look cross court by Mills. Ramil is capable, as we saw earlier, of dunking the ball in that case, but Volsey came over, and as you said, Brent, took away any opportunity for the 3-point play. Only a 64% free throw shooter.
Higgins replaces Griffin. Now that move gives Michigan a little more firepower. Especially those of you who followed Michigan all year know that the young man sometimes can get a little out of control, but he certainly was the right man in the right spot on Saturday afternoon. So they have perhaps their best scoring lineup on the floor right now. They're up by 4. Inside, away from the ball, and Higgins was defending Morton, and Higgins fouled him. That's his 3rd personal. Down away from the ball. Not something you'd want from a bigger man against a guard posting him up down there.
You're going to see a situation here where Seton Hall now starting to go ahead and run that good picking game down inside, and Higgins just goes right ahead and grabs Morton. No way you get away with that foul. And this Seton Hall club can bury you on the foul line. A great free throw shooting team.
Seton Hall trailed Duke by 18. They were down a dozen to Michigan. They're back to within 2. Wolverines bring it down.
He's not quite as quick going around Green right now as he was in the first half.
Rice hits a 3. 26 points for the magnificent scoring machine. And that breaks the NCAA tournament scoring record, breaking Senator Bradley's record.
With 3 more, he'll be the all-time Big Ten scorer in history.
Ramos still can't get it to fall on the inside. Michigan's ball.
PJ really upset with that because that's exactly what he wanted to get, the ball down inside. You notice how long Gaze has been out of the game. Been no factor here.
Robinson cutting on the inside is fouled. There's the list of the great scorers, Billy.
Oh, Elvin Hayes, Danny Manning, who we saw last year play so well. Glen Rice has been consistent each and every game. You know, there's no 50-pointer in there. We're just 30, 30, 30, 30 every night. Making the tough baskets as that last one he just threw in. Of course, another thing, Brent, we ought to point out, there was no three-point shot back in those days. A lot different than we have today. And talking about rules, the three-point play will stay in college basketball next year from the same distance that was decided today by the Rules Committee.
You like the 3 right where it is?
Yes. Well, I think it should go back maybe to the international, but I don't want to see him fooling around with the rules for a while.
Fought outside. Yanked away by Green. It's 64-59. It's a 5-point Michigan lead. Seton Hall did cut it to 2. Morton left alone. Won't fall. Michigan with a big rebound underneath. And Rice has done an outstanding job, not only of shooting, but of rebounding here this evening. They get it into Vaught.
Come on, Ralph!
Won't fall.
Brett, Michigan's putting the ball up a little bit too quick now. You know, the clock can help them right here. If they don't have the good shot, they should be bringing it back out. Force Seton Hall to do all the work on defense.
Walker steps out. Green over here on the left.
Still wanting to punch it inside, but they don't have their man Ramos.
So Green will come down the baseline. Keeps the dribble.
Going to pull it out. It's got 10 seconds to go on the clock.
Man falls down. Lost the ball. Picked up by Seton Hall's Walker. And he drew the foul by Hughes.
A lot of guts by Seton Hall to be that patient on that time down the floor.
Gaze returning.
Foul charge to number 55.
There's a young man that was the MVP of the West Regional and is not having the kind of game that would be expected out of him today.
Not a good day made.
That's right.
Andrew Gaze returns to the Seton Hall line. Walker shooting 2.
Great free throw shooter. 2 streaks in college, 1 of 33 in a row and 1 of 32 in a row.
We've got a timeout. We're at the 4-minute mark. 64-61, Michigan. An interim coach by the name of Steve Fisher. The next 4:07 could be an eternity. He has 3 timeouts, as does P.J. Carlissimo. No fouls to give. In case of a held ball, it'll go over to Seton Hall. He took over 5 games ago from Bill Frieder. And this sign moments ago was raised in the Michigan cheering section, and Angie, seated nearby, certainly would second that thought. I spoke with Bo Schembechler just before it began. There will be no announcement tonight regardless of what happens. Said Bo, he will get the first interview. That was it.
That's nice of him.
And now it is Rice. Over to Higgins. They get it in and work it around the perimeter. Bringing each of the big men out here to handle the ball and then send them back down low on the exchange. Mills works his way in now for the good shot. Beautiful play by the Wolverines.
Brent, if Bo would win the national championship in football, would he get the first interview possibility to retain his job as football coach? Oh, give me a break.
Traveling.
Again, weak side defense. Been there all day long. This is exactly what happened to Danny Ferry when he played against Seton Hall, having a hard time because great teaching of weak side defense. Robinson looks a little fresher now. That little time he sat down helped him.
Now he gets in the inside, lost control.
Nice save.
Ball is Morton for a breakout. That was a big moment in this game that has pulled Seton Hall back to within 3 points.
Ready, you see how smart Morton was on this play? He just tapped it enough to get to the teammate and then broke long. That's what it's like to have seniors that have played with each other for 4 years. They know exactly where they're going to be.
He's got a hand on it. Seton Hall's ball. 3-on-2 now. Green off to the side. Morton hits it again. And Seton Hall back to within 1 in 2.5 minutes.
Well, what has saved Michigan walking down the floor with 3 players? What saved Michigan at this point? Steve Fisher up screaming at his players. Let's start moving. What saved them has been the 3-point shot.
And there's another one off into Morton's hands. Seton Hall brings Morton, who's been the scoring sensation, up with the layup. 19 points in the second half for John Morton. The Hall's ahead.
They've got to go to a timeout. Everybody's walking down the floor. Mills walking down the floor. And Steve Fisher is going for the time.
This is the graphic that we showed you earlier. The Seton Hall defense down the stretch. How few field goals they allow each of these teams. And now over the last 13 minutes, Michigan only 6 of 23. John Morton has exploded, scoring 15 of Seton Hall's last 22 points and putting them up, Billy, by 67-66.
Brett, the ball's got to be in the hands on this time down into Glen Rice. He's got to touch it some to see if he can get off a decent shot.
Green tightening up on Ramil Robinson.
Good step out by Morton to prevent.
5 seconds. It goes over to the Hall.
That was Morton that made the play. Rice had come off the double screen, and Morton stepped out to prevent that pass and created the 5-second call. He's doing it on both ends of the floor.
Now Green, who is celebrating his birthday today, bringing it up to the attack. And what a birthday party this could be. Morton stepping out.
Double high stack now by Seton Hall. Going to make Michigan chase them for a while, which is really going to wear down Glen Rice. Nice piece of coaching here by P.J. Carlissimo.
Morton cut off by Mills, so he'll send it back deep to Green.
You know, when you have a good free throw shooting team, you don't mind hanging onto the ball and using some clock, because even if you go to the line, you're in good shape.
Walker putting it down, and the foul is called. And that on Vaught is number 2. Michigan's over the limit. So we're shooting 1-1, and Seton Hall a good free throw shooting team.
Brent, some of the key things, the arrow pointing in favor of Seton Hall on the next tie-up situation. Also, both teams will be in the 1-1. As we said, Seton Hall with a very experienced club, the regular starting team out there now, and a great club on the foul line.
Michigan ball. Now the Wolverines have turned it over on 3 of their last 4 possessions. They trail it by 2. Rice with the 3. Michigan leads on Rice's 3-point shot. 29 for the game. Morton, he's alone as Rice slipped and he's short. Michigan's ball underneath.
They've got to give it up. There's a differential of about 6 seconds on the clock, so they can't hold it to the end.
But if successful, they can make it tough. They can move up by 3, and Seton Hall flashes out with the foul. That was Morton's third.
Higgins a 77% free throw shooter. Both teams in the 1-and-1 now. I said in the beginning, wives of the coaches are the first ones to get to heaven, and you saw Mrs. Fisher bending down. She can't even look.
You know, that might not have been the worst foul in the world because of the clock right now. 34 seconds on the clock. If Higgins makes both of them, they're still going to have 30 seconds, and now they're going to apply a little ice to the young man. A timeout is called by Carlissimo. We'll be right back with a national championship hanging in the balance. 17 seconds remain. Score is tied because of John Morton, who scored 32 points, Billy, 22 this half.
Step back behind the three-point line, buried it just as Rice did. Now, with a guy like Robinson, tough man to guard, but he's got to get the ball in his hands first. Good job by Green preventing him from touching it.
And there's their last timeout.
That was bad play by Michigan, not getting a solid screen for Robinson.
The great color and pageantry of this arena coming down once again in this decade to another great ending at an NCAA championship. I'm Brett Musser. Here we go again. Michigan led it by 12, 51-39 at the 14-16 mark, and then John Morton started to blaze away.
Brent, unlike Magic's game in the NBA, you can throw the ball in the backcourt, but they needed to set a screen from Ramil Robinson. Now he's with Green all alone. Very dangerous play here.
They get it into Robinson's hand, bringing it down. The final seconds ticking away.
Might as well clear out for him and let him take his man.
They're going to look for Rice, too, if he can flash. He's going to go to the other side. He comes out high. He's got Gaze on him. Gaze with him. Rice shoots. Rice doesn't get the roll. We're going to go to overtime.
First time since '63 when Loyola and Cincinnati went OT. Well, Brent, you've got to put it in the hands of your key guy. I thought, though, that it had been better for Robinson to dribble it to the hoop and try to get the foul. But Rice has been so great throughout this tournament. Great turnaround jumper. It almost shocks you when he doesn't make the shot. Calculated play.
Yeah,
good choice.
I think you'd want him to win or lose it.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
He had a shot. We've seen Rice make a lot of them in the tournament. This one doesn't fall, and we'll go to a 5-minute overtime. It has been longer than 2 decades before the Loyola Ramblers defeated Cincinnati, a game I'll never forget. Those of you in the Chicago area were listening to that great call by Red Rush. They win it. They win it. Now you have a jump ball to start the 5-minute overtime. Higgins controls for Michigan. Michigan gets 1 timeout. They had none, and Seton Hall 3. They hit Rice on the inside, and Michigan goes up by 2.
Well, it was just 2 seconds too late.
But the Wolverines will take it nevertheless. Seton Hall's ball.
Seton Hall has not been in an overtime game this year. Michigan been in one, and they won that game against Iowa. In that first overtime game in history of the NCAA, Arnie Farron back with Utah MVP, and they won that one.
Green hits Gaze, bringing Higgins out with him. On the switch, Robinson will take Gaze. And the hot man has been John Morton. Rice watching him.
Clear out for Morton.
Takes it into the paint, not there. He and Ramos play catch. Now with the shot clock running down, Gaze bangs in a three, his first field goal of the game, and it came in overtime.
And Brenny just hung around out on the side and lulled Ramil Robinson to sleep.
Robinson hits Hughes, who comes out. Higgins here, Rice and Mills along with Robinson. Higgins puts the Wolverines back ahead.
Higgins was a guy that looked like he was going to shoot him out of the game, and now he's come back into 2 big fouls and then that shot.
Very conscious of Morton. They get it out to Green, missing the three. Walker goes out after it. Great offensive rebounder, and it's goaltending. Put it down.
Walker got by with a push on that initial rebound. We might get a chance to see it. There's his turn on the inside. And the goaltend, second one in the game for Michigan.
Our 12th lead change. We had 33 lead changes between Michigan and Illinois. 3:12 left in overtime. Seton Hall up by a point. Steal by Green.
Got Morton.
Bring it down with Robinson. Morton was open. He didn't see him all the way. And Mills with a great defensive effort that time. Now it's 2-on-2. Gaze stayed back with Walker. And as Higgins comes through, he drew the foul.
6'9", putting the ball on the floor like this is California product. High school All-American.
Foul is charged to number 24, Darrell Walker. His
really coming
foul.
to the front of late.
Shooting 2, number 24, Sean Higgins.
It's hard to sense right now which is the fresher team. Walker looks fresh. Morton looks fresh. Ramos not quite as fresh for Seton Hall.
Sean Higgins has demonstrated some poise under pressure. 2 huge free throws near the end of regulation. Now he nails that one. He's already dropped in a field goal in overtime. This can put Michigan ahead. Doesn't get the roll. Score is tied at 76.
See if PJ goes to that double high now and going to force
Morton. He's got another one. 35 points. And a 3-point Seton Hall lead. 2.5 minutes.
Ramil has been quite ball on the field of the ball on this. You just have to play solid defense and work.
And a timeout call. Well, John Morton with 35 points, his career high, and he's moving into some rarefied air. You saw that shot of Bill Walton earlier. He has the record. Morton has led the way. 79-76. Seton Hall leading it. And that's the time they off with the rebound.
Brent, Robinson only has 1 field goal in the second half. He has not been penetrating like he did in the first half. He's given the ball up.
Rice open on the 3, and this time it won't fall. But Higgins has got 17 mark, and Billy Sean Higgins continuing to fire away.
Yeah, I really not keeping the ball in his hand, penetrating a little bit. And then you know that Seton Hall is going to slough down inside. He can fire back out to Rice.
Billy, when you go back and look at this tape tomorrow, you'll see that he was not the same after the
Let's see
big
if he
missed
takes it
free
through.
throw. Gives it up to Rice. Down toward a minute. Michigan trailing it by 3. Mills backs his way in. Now the turnaround, and it's a 1-point.
And the clock, game clock.
And Michigan. And he'll take Rice down on the inside. Seconds on the shot clock. Seton Hall will have to hurry. Morton will go 1 on 5 seconds. Robinson goes and foul called with 3 seconds. A foul against Seton Hall with 3 seconds.
Brent, that's the play that Michigan had been waiting for a long time. Keep the ball in Ramil Robinson's hands. Make Seton Hall make the play. Not much of a foul, but Green did hit him.
Billy, Seton Hall did not get a good play up here at the other end.
No, they didn't.
They wound up with a one-on-one with Morton going in against two taller Wolverines. And then that allowed Robinson some daylight down here. And as he came on the inside, he was...
One of the only statistical weaknesses of Ramil Robinson's...
Timeout will be used by Seton Hall, applying a little more pressure with that timeout, and we'll be right back.
P.J. Carlesimo has called his last timeout to turn the screw by giving Ramil Robinson more time to worry about the most critical shot of his career. Remember, if he hits the first shot of this one-on-one, he'll get another free throw and the chance to give Michigan the lead. If he misses, his team will still be a point down and the game will go on with only 3 seconds left on the clock. The match and the championship hang on this shot.
3 seconds remaining in the NCAA's first championship overtime since 1963. Ramil Robinson, the point guard. And they're the parents who raised him in Cambridge, Massachusetts. With an opportunity to put Michigan ahead. It's a 1-and-1. He'll shoot the front end right here and get a second free throw if successful. Griffin, who was a defensive standout, with a word of encouragement for his teammate.
Now you see Steve Fisher wanting all his men off the lane. PJ, on the other hand, is going to want the ball up to half court and call a timeout.
He only has 3 seconds, though, Billy. He might have done something in that timeout before so that they go with a long pass here. Let's see what happens on the free throw. Michigan leads it.
Timeout called by PJ is one of those situations he has none left, so he now cannot throw the ball up to half court and call his next one. He's got to go the 94 feet and get something off, and about the best thing he can afford to do is try to go up the sideline. Remember the Indiana-Illinois game. Go up that sideline looking for the three-point shot. He's got Morton, who's been hot, and he's got Gaze on the other side.
Billy, in talking to a lot of the coaches, there's a big difference between 3 and 2. Illinois had only 2 seconds left that day at Indiana. Seton Hall with 3.
I thought that he could fire it up the sideline quickly and then call the time, and he'd have it up here in the half-court area, but now he no longer has that available.
See who he's going to use to take the ball out of bounds. It looks like Ramos is walking back beyond the end line.
And Michigan opts not to guard the man throwing the ball in bounds, but Steve Fisher calls one of his timeouts to say, I want to take a look at the deployment. Nice move on his part.
Both coaches exhaust their timeouts in overtime. Not too far from that Space Needle here in Seattle. Michigan only 3 seconds away from claiming its first ever national championship and becoming the first team to win both the Rose Bowl and the NCAA in 1 year. Now, after the timeout, Fisher will deploy a taller man, Mills, against Ramos. He knows that P.J. Carlesimo cannot change. He's out of timeouts. So Fisher comes up with a big move after that timeout. They're going to have to get the ball over Mills, who will try to harass the big man on the throw-in.
Really like that strategy, Brent. Steve Fisher doing all the right things in this particular ball game. Mills makes it tough to throw the line drive pass.
Starts when touched. Long pass. Walker and Green battle. Walker fires up. It's over. Michigan has won a national championship. And for the 3rd time in the last 8 games, it has been decided by 1 point. The Wolverines win an NCAA title over Seton Hall, a tough opponent all the way.
pictures say it all. Congratulations to Michigan and everyone who took part in this great final. Steve Fisher has won a national championship, but he's still to win a permanent job as head coach, though his boss has promised him the first interview for the post. After his stunning coaching performance, surely he must be on a short list of one. Well, we'll leave you with a tribute to all the players and coaches who made the NCAA tournament so outstanding this year. We hope that you and they will take from it the memory of one shining moment. I'm Nicky Horn. Goodbye for now.
The ball is tipped. There you are. You're running for your life. You're a shooting star, and all the years no one knows just how hard you worked, but now it shows. In one shining moment you reach deep inside. One shining moment you knew you were alive. Feel the beat of your heart, feel the wind in your face. It's more than a contest, it's more than a race. It's done, win or lose, you always did your best, 'cause inside you knew that one shining moment you reached for the sky. One shining moment you knew. One shining moment you were willing to try. One shining moment you